Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to cover Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Star Wars series. His ability description is clear zooms in a few spots and a diagonal line. So his ability is pretty easy to use, I would say, but I'm going to get into his actual animation and ability a little bit later. I do want to go over his stats first. So in order to activate Obi-Wan Kenobi's ability, you'll need to clear anywhere between 19 to 24 copies of him off the screen. This number is going to vary depending on the skill level. His minimum score is 120 with a maximum score of 953. So 953 isn't necessarily amazing, but it's pretty good. And given that if you could get Obi-Wan Kenobi to a higher skill level, the skill charge is going to be 19, so that combination of a decent score and also relatively easy to activate the ability might not be a bad combination. So if you do want to get him to skill level 6, in order to max out, you're going to need to get a total of 32 copies of him from the premium box. And right now it is lucky time in the month of May 2023, so it might be relatively easier to get him maxed out. And by the way, if you're enjoying this type of content where I do in-depth analysis of zooms, do leak videos, and also do shorts, and by the way, there's going to be more shorts coming, so think about subscribing if you haven't done so already and turn on the notification button. Okay, so let's jump into the skill chart in the bottom right hand corner. Every single time you level up Obi-Wan Kenobi's ability, two things change. The skill range, which is how thick that slash is going to be, and then secondly, how many zooms you're going to need to activate his ability. At the lower skill level, so like at skill level 1, the skill range is going to be the smallest possible, and also in order to activate his ability, it's going to require 24. But if you could get Obi-Wan Kenobi to skill level 6, the skill range is going to be extra large, so you're going to clear a majority of the screen whenever you activate his ability. And you're only going to need to get 19 copies of him off the screen to activate the ability. So it's definitely worth it if you could get Obi-Wan Kenobi to skill level 6 if you have the resources. Alright, so I also want to show you guys a side-by-side comparison of all three of his skill levels. So at the left, you have your skill level 1, in the middle, you have skill level 2, and then finally, you have skill level 3 on your right. And keep in mind, there are going to be two differences for Obi-Wan Kenobi's ability. So skill range, and also how many zooms you're going to need to activate his ability. So you're not really going to be able to see that in these game demonstration because there's no counter, I guess you could say. You might be able to see how quickly the charger bar catches up, but it's really not definitive when you watch these replays. However, it will be clear how thick the slashes are, how big the skill ranges are, and I'll do a side-by-side comparison as well. So overall, I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of those zooms where you might not want to spend all of your coins on to try to get a copy of him. He is going to be really easy to get to skill level 6 though because of such a low cost. You only need 32 copies of him compared to other zooms you may need 36. So that's the trade-off there. Not the best of zoom, but easy to get to skill level 6. He's also going to be part of Group B in the score challenge later this month, so if you cannot get Pilot Luke and R2-D2, Obi-Wan Kenobi is not a bad option. I think he is going to be the second best zoom you could use. I'm still working on confirming that, but for Group B, you could either use Pilot Luke and R2-D2, which is a really hard zoom to get. I also have another video covering Pilot Luke and R2-D2, so if you're looking for that, check it out in my channel. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is the second zoom in Group B, and then you have Mace Windu. So those are going to be the three. And given how hard it is to get Pilot Luke and R2-D2, depending on who you have in your friends list, you may be better off with trying to get Obi-Wan Kenobi. That might be a better option. But definitely try to get Pilot Luke and R2-D2 for the score challenge over any of the other zooms. One thing I don't like about Obi-Wan Kenobi's ability is that the animation is pretty long. It's not like it's super long, but for the reward, it's very minimal. Because of the first component where there's a lot of zooms or random zooms gets popped and then like a baby slash and then the final slash, a lot of time goes by. And that initial part where there's 4 random parts that gets blown and then that little baby slash, it takes up about like 2 to 3 seconds. So you're maybe better off with using another zoom if you're trying to get a high coin count. But he is a really easy zoom to use, so if you are a beginner, this might not be a bad option. Alright, so another thing I want to show you guys is his animation activated at the same time. So let's take a look at that. This is his ability in full motion, but I do want to slow this down so I can show you guys some of the things that are happening. So with Obi-Wan Kenobi's ability, the screen doesn't freeze. And because of that, you don't necessarily need to prepare and set it up. And what I mean by it doesn't freeze is that zooms will continue to fall even after you hit the ability button. There are other zooms out there that if you hit the ability button, the entire screen freeze and the ability will play through as it is. But in this case, it doesn't do that. And this is going to be the difference between all three of the skill ranges. Skill level 1, the skill range is extra small. And then for skill level 2 is small. And then for skill level 3, it's medium. So nothing too bad. I think it's average. And there's always going to be those little bubbles there as well. And it seems like that's kind of the theme for these Star Wars zooms. So they do get in the way a little bit, but it's not too bad. So for skill level 1, I got a chain of 19. Skill level 2, I got a chain of 22. And skill level 3, I got a chain of 28. These are not amazing, but they're also not too bad, which is why I think that Obi-Wan Kenobi is just an average zoom. So it's nothing too amazing where you gotta spend your skill tickets or spend more coins to try to get more copies of him in the premium box. Another thing you want to do after you activate his ability is try to pop those magic bubbles. Those will help you charge up the next Obi-Wan Kenobi's ability. It also gets rid of some of the zooms that are in that area and it prepares you to activate the next ability. They also are on the bottom, so if there's any bubbles that are more towards the center area, on the left or on the right, go ahead and pop those first because it will help you charge up Obi-Wan Kenobi's second ability. So overall, I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is a good zoom, and it's actually not a zoom I would recommend you to spend your coins on. And out of the 3 new zooms that's currently out right now, he's actually ranked number 3, so he's one of my least favorite. And if you take a look at the results here, at the end of this gameplay, I ended up with 1,408 coins for skill level 1. Skill level 2, I got 1,566. For skill level 3, I got 2,015 coins. So in terms of coins, these are not amazing at all. They're pretty average, borderline bad. And for score, because my zoom is still relatively low score, or low level I mean, they're not that amazing either. So for skill level 1, 4.5 million, and then skill level 2, I got 4.8 million. Skill level 3, 5.7 million. All of these are not that amazing. Nothing compared to Pilot Luke and R2-D2. So which is why I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be ranked number 2 in terms of the score challenge. You may want to try to get Pilot Luke and R2-D2 if you want to get to S rank. So that's my review for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are planning to get a copy of him or not. And if you would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, or want to just support this channel, please consider subscribing to this channel and turn on the notification button. And as always, thank you so much for watching.